Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VI. Well, last time we explored Jador, and then we made our way to the poorer part of this continent, the town of Zozo, full of thieves and murderers apparently. There are dead people lying in the streets. Anyway, this is a fun place to be. Let's explore here. Girl, I haven't seen any here. Might want to check the top of the building. But everyone here is supposed to lie, so you're saying I shouldn't check the top of the building, video game? No, they screwed up the translation. Haven't seen any girls lately, and there's definitely not one on the top floor of this building, so don't bother checking. See, that's what they should have put in here, but they oopsed. It is what it is, but yeah, the Game Boy Advance, again, fixing translation mistakes, as it does most of the time. Yeah, we've encountered all the enemies around here. Now, interesting thing, is you talk to some of these, yeah, great people indeed. You get stuck in this line, unfortunately, and there's no real way around it. And if you want to go out of your way to talk to some of the people here, you end up having to wait in line even longer. So I'm not going to bother talking to absolutely everybody around here. If you want to leave, okay, you can't do it there yet. Having lock is so invaluable in this area because there's so... You just jump from building to building. Well, we did hear about that last time. But, yeah, there's this option here if you want to jump between buildings here. I'm going to jump back because there's something else up here I want to grab first. A Thief Glove. Thief Glove is kind of interesting. Relics. The Thief Glove changes steel into capture or mug in later translations. This can have some weird influence. That's not what I wanted to mouse over. I wanted to mouse over to one of my walkthroughs so that I could read some stuff off. Now, normally the Thief Glove just does exactly what it says. It turns steel into capture so you deal damage along with stealing. Normally, as you can see, even with the sneak ring on, we don't steal often enough for this to really be worthwhile, though I believe the steal rate does have something to do with Locke's level in comparison to the enemy's level, so that can have something to do with it as well. I tend to be relatively low leveled in this game, just because you don't need to gain a lot of levels, but there are certain weapons that you can pair it with that will react differently. And, well, there's a certain weapon that looks like a lightsaber that is normally somewhat finicky, but when used in the situation with the sneak or the Thief Glove here, can actually just turn into a normal weapon with a maximum battle power. And we'll get into this when we actually find this weapon, but just kind of keep it in mind that there are... Basically, what it does when you turn into capture is it removes the weapon's special effects. And this weapon just happens to have a special effect that makes it worse in certain situations. You can actually just put the Thief Glove on and use this weapon to flat out do more damage and not even care about the stealing function of it all. So it's kind of interesting that way. It's not the most useful thing in the world, but it does have its uses at times. Now, as you can see, this is blocked off. We actually can't get up there. So yeah, we need to backtrack. Man, the encounter rate is brutal in this game. So there's nothing here, so we got to jump all the way to the next building. And inside here. Now, there's a hidden staircase there, which is definitely a thing. And here we get a tincture and a potion. Whoop-de-doo. Damn encounter rate. Yeah, they're still talking about this. I guess the idea is for you to go through the entire area, write down all these notes, and then go back to that at the end. But the code's the same every time, so there's no need to. Okay, what do we got here? Seconds, they're divisible by 20. Well, the seconds were 50, so that's obviously wrong. So at least that's good information that we know is now wrong. Okay, let's jump over to the other side here. And we have arrived. We got above that point that we were at before, which is nice. Oops. Looks like there you can go between there, but you can't. Now, I do want to find one encounter in here with a slam dancer, because it's one thing I neglected to mention before. Now, it is true that when they are... Well, there's another pair of dragon boots. I'll go over that in a moment. This is one fight where you might actually want to equip the runic ability, or a sword, so you can use the runic ability, because that will absorb the Slam Dancer's spells even if they get a chance to catch them. So that's one option you have at your disposal for dealing with them. And beyond just healing, that's probably the best use of Celeste being here, because there's not really a whole lot that she gains by coming along on this trip. She's just under-leveled and needed to gain levels so that she would be on the same level with everybody else. There is a barrier ring as a rare drop you can get, I believe, from harvesters, but as we talked about before, it sucks, so it doesn't matter. Alright, let us keep going up then. And here's a door containing a chest and a fire knuckle. Sabin, are you done using your first weapon of the game? Here's a new one that we're also not going to use. But it's there. Actually, the fire knuckle we probably will use more than most other ones because, well, for single targeting damage, it's better than using fire dance. Attempt to steal. One thing that Runic will not protect you against is Magnitude 8. It doesn't protect you from that because it's not like a normal spell. It's a special ability that happens to be magically based. Sabin gained another level. Nice. Alright. If we go in here, we can't do anything. Let's talk to this guy. My healing up means nothing. What are you talking about? Can I be of service? I hate fighting, so I'd better let you pass. Right, he lies. This guy is weak to poison. You can steal a jewel ring, or rarely you can steal a sneak ring from him, neither of which is particularly valuable. Like I said, weak to poison. The best way of dealing with this guy? Numbblade. He is now stopped. He can do nothing. We win. The fight basically ends at this point. The other thing you can do against a few of the enemies around here is cast the Imp Spell. Turns them into an imp. There's a strange feature in this game where enemies under the Imp command, their stats change and their AI script change, and they can only use normal attack and Imp, but they tend to critical a lot. Like, sometimes it auto-criticals for certain enemies. So yeah, we've completely nuked this guy. He can't do anything against us, and the rest of the fight is just basically wailing on him. It doesn't make for the most entertaining fight. So we're just going to do that, and I will show you a different way of dealing with this guy. But just so you know, you can just use Numbblade and completely nuke this guy, if you so desire to do so. Same jewel ring as before. Like I said, there's a chance at it being a sneak ring. Not that it makes a lot of difference. The jewel ring will be useful for us anyway. We have 3 of those now, along with our ribbon to fully protect everyone from, I believe it was Petrify. Like I said, weak to poison, so Trillium is the way to go. You can use Celeste to kind of heal if you want to. Or you can have her attack from the back row. That works too. I can't remember what exactly this guy does, to be quite honest. Doesn't attack very much. Like, I haven't stopped him this time, but He still died before he could do anything. Helpful strategy guide. What do you say this guy does? He can use an attack that inflicts seizure. He is vulnerable to petrify if you want to do that. Sleep, mute, slow, stop, petrify, and imp if you wanted to use it against him. Is kind of a weird dude. Headband? That's not even listed as a drop. At least not on this walkthrough. Okay then. Sure. Not that we need it, but it's there. Yeah. I don't know what else he can do, to be honest. He never lasts very long. He's only got like 3,000 HP. It ends really fast if you have Gaw using Bio, or if you have, what's his name? Edgar using Bio Blaster. Alright. This room has 2 chests. The running shoes, another pair of those, which is quite nice, and an X potion. Okay, all healed up there. Hello. Well, they said there wasn't a girl up here, so they must have been lying. We've found Terra. Ramu, she's scared. Old man Ramu. Girl is your friend. Oh, she's up. Poor Terra. She is undamaged, but I fear she can't understand you. As for me, I, Ramu, the Esper Ramu. Her life is in no danger. She simply used a power she didn't know she had, and it overwhelmed her. Now her body won't listen to what she's telling it to do. Yes, we haven't, we've heard generally about them, and we saw the one encased in ice. But other than that, they're basically figures of lore from 1,000 years ago. Don't they live in an isekai world? I mean, another world. Sorry, getting my genres mixed up here. Yeah, we had heard about that. That doesn't mean we don't live here, too. Espers take on a variety of forms. Sometimes we live here, taking the shape of humans. You have nothing to fear from us. Now, this was translated wrong and got the meaning wrong. Look at the Game Boy Advance. It doesn't mean there's anything stopping us from living in this one. Espers come in a variety of forms, not they take a variety of forms. My appearance is similar to your own, so I can live here as one of you, without fear of anyone discovering the truth. So it's not that Espers can change form, it's that Ramu, as the old god of lightning, happens to look mostly human. Why do you hide the fact that you're an Esper? Humans and Espers can't survive together. They are incompatible. Grandma told me that Espers and people once lived side by side. Was it just a fairy tale? It was no fairy tale, that was true. We started off as friends, lived together in harmony. Then came the War of the Magi. It took place long ago. Espers fought humans who were infused with magical power extracted from espers. Fearing our magical powers would once again become a target, we fashioned a new realm and moved there. Again, the translation oversimplifies in this case. After the meaningless war had ended, the Espers fashioned a new realm with which they exiled themselves. The whole idea of a realm isn't really the most accurate here, but I guess it's the best we can go with at the moment. They feared that if they remained, it would only be a matter of time before their powers were targeted again. About 20 years ago, humans stumbled upon it. Now, the idea that they could stumble upon a realm isn't the best. Let's pause for a quick second here. So yes, the idea here is that it's not necessarily a realm, it's just somewhere isolated. I guess this is kind of peeled from like kind of the Japanese text and some of the different translations. But as far as I understand it, the idea is that it's not like a whole nother world or a whole nother realm. It's basically just an isolated area away from everyone else. Hence why someone from the human world could stumble into it. It was probably something that was obscured from view, maybe through some form of magic, magic cloaking field or something like that. Gestahl, the leader of men, or leader of the Empire, knew that he could use the powers extracted from us to create an invincible army. Also, the song, again, Enchanted Esper. At least I'm not 100% sure if that's the canon name of it. In this response, we erected a doorway and threw the humans out. So they basically forced a gate in between their isolated area. Even as we speak, many of my kind are trapped in the Empire's Magitech research facility, being drained of their powers. I fled there to avoid a similar fate. Well, the world is a little bit different than we had once thought it to be. Magic and espers are everywhere, it seems. She seems to have calmed down a bit. I sensed that Terra was in trouble. My magic summoned her here, or I called Terra here when I realized that she had lost control. She responded to that call. It's a much more accurate, probably, description of what happened, and it logically flows better. Terra's an Esper. Interesting. Actually, she's quite different. Oh. Then how were you able to call to her? Though she does look like she's in some amount of pain, especially considering that scream from a number of episodes back. Her very existence strikes fear into her own heart. She's afraid of what she is. Even though humans aren't, espers or something like it, we can all identify with that sentiment to some extent. When she accepts this aspect of herself, I think she'll be all right. Or once she understands her true nature, fear and doubt should subside. We have to do something, though. Then free those of my kind imprisoned by Gestahl's Magitech research facility. One of them can surely help her. The others of my kind who are trapped in the research facility may be able to help. First, probably a better, less on the nose translation. Ramu is specifically referring to one of those espers, but we'll talk about that later. If we find the research facility, you're sure we'll find your people. Magitech Research Facility, one of the other benefits of bringing Celeste with you. Your people are in there? Like a coward, I escaped, leaving the others there. It'll be the end of them. Or, more accurately, I escaped alone, abandoning my friends and hiding here like a coward. But I fear I can remain here no longer. What do you mean you're not going to stay here any longer? Gestalt's methods are incorrect. You can't drain a live Esper of all its power. That just weakens them. Only when we are reduced to Magicite, our abilities can be transferred in total. It's an awkwardly framed sentence. Only when we become Magicite can our powers be transferred in full. I am going to turn myself into Magicite so that I might lend you my strength. When we transform into Magicite, our power can be relocated. The translation is definitely wonky here. The term Magicite is a combination of the term magic and rock. It's a made-up word, and they translated it as Magicite. You'll notice that Magirock was used in the fan translation there. It's not wrong. Mana Stone is used in the Google Translate, which might be how it's translated in a different game. I've talked about this in regards to other things like that, Scream of Power that was used by Sabin early on, or maybe it was Sabin fighting when we first met him? Who were we fighting? I've already forgotten his name. Duncan's son. But yeah, he had a line like that that's been translated differently in other games, like in Star Ocean 2, it was translated as Killer Move. Anyway, Magicite is what's left when Espers pass away. Magicite is an Esper's power in its purest form. When an Esper dies, Magicite is all that is left behind. Of course, any reference to death, dying, drinking, booze, any of that kind of stuff was completely censored out. Even religion was censored out. The holy status is called Pearl in this game instead of holy, because you couldn't have any of that in here. It's weird how much Nintendo has changed its whole pitch on things, considering how much they allow on their platform now and how little they allowed back at this point. What do we have here? These are my comrades who fell while escaping the Empire. I will give you my power as well. Sounds very similar to a Chrono Trigger sound effect. And the breaking sound effect also sounds similar, as well as that sound after the breaking sounds similar to like the waves crashing on the shore. Are you really gone? Turned himself into Magicite. He traded his power so that others might live, or he gave up his life to help us, which is probably a little better. Same idea applies, but Terra, wait for us. We'll be back. Why are you doing this? We few can help save many. The War of the Magi must not be repeated. Now, it's only part of the idea. Over in the Game Boy Advance, if our power is used for destruction, the skies will darken and life will fade from the earth. You must stop them. There must not be another War of the Magi. Receive the Magicite Ramu. Receive the Magicite Stray. Looking over at the other translations, they translated this in a weird way. If you look at the... are they going to let me highlight the entire word? No. Okay. They're not going to let me highlight the whole word here. Okay, whatever. But basically, it's a katakana word that represents the... I believe it's an Irish term for Kate Sith, or Ketshi. It's kind of sounding it out in Japanese syllables to the best that they would be able to do with the language as it is. And it was just translated really weird as stray. I'm not sure why. But yeah, it's Kate Sith or Ketshi, depending on how you want to sound that out. Kieran. There was an interesting little here you can see down below. Magic Stone Giraffe. What Kieran is it's a reference to a Chinese chimera. And there was a time when it was mistaken in Japanese history for a giraffe, or like the word was mistaken. And well, the word Kieran in Japanese eventually came to be known as the word for giraffe. So it's kind of weird that way, but it's based off of a Chinese chimera, which was like a mix between a bunch of different species. I can't remember. If you look it up, you can see some of the cool stuff it looks like. It looks more like a Japanese chimera. Kieran also is used for chimera in the language, or it's a specific type. And then, of course, we get Siren. Interesting. Hey! Everyone's here. I was thinking. Let's talk on the way. Thought they were supposed to stay in Nars to protect things. It's funny how God just jumps all the way down and ignores everything else. I don't remember because I was asleep when they augmented me. Now, here's an interesting line. The text here goes automatically, so I have to pause. But I was asleep when they performed my infusion, so I don't know for sure, but I've heard rumors to that effect. Now, if you notice, all of them are focused on me. Surprisingly enough, according to the website I got the Wonderbar program from, apparently it was created by someone who spoke Japanese and English and was kind of doing little write-ups as that person played through the game. And one of the things that was noted in the write-up was that the translation was not supposed to necessarily be me, but rather we. We remain sleeping. Now, you can use that to mean there were more people infused with power, just like Celeste. Okay, I was just talking for a moment and explained something that was a spoiler and then realized that it was a spoiler, so I can't continue that train of thought. But the idea is that there might be more people out there like Celeste who have been infused with power of espers. That's why she's able to use magic. In the case of... I could have left it playing. Why do they do that? Half the scene is gone through automatically and half of it isn't. Suppose we're going to have to find a way to slip into the Empire. We best split up. We need to beef up our defenses in Narsh. Then why did you guys leave? Again, we're going to split into two groups. So, yeah. Now, as we head toward the Empire, Celeste needs to go. She knows it well. It makes sense that she'll be of great help there. I find it funny how Gauze climbed up something else there. He's in the top left of the screen. But we're not going to send her in alone. Don't worry, I'll go with her. Now, in the Super Nintendo version here, oh, they're not going to do the line yet? Okay, what's going to happen here is I'm actually going to make a... Well, I don't have to do it in here, but I am going to do the upcoming section twice because, well, there's additional dialogue that you get for having both Edgar and Sabin, but I definitely want to bring Gaw. Gaw is really good early game. He's just absolutely broken. Cyan, early game, not so great. He's decent when you get him, and since we've had access to all of our party members, he's been basically a bottom tier character. It's like him and Celeste have the least damage output and the least use. Locke, while not having a great damage output, at least can steal and has been invaluable in this area. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to throw him to the side for now because the party I want to bring contains Edgar and Gaw. But like I said, the story is going to give me a lot of benefit for bringing both the Figaro brothers. And this is very important for me to get across the story, so I'm going to save here, bring them through the next sequence, reload my save here, do it all over again off screen, and then bring Gaw instead of Sabin. Unfortunately. Please wait for us in Narsh. Find our way back. You can head for Narsh. Now, where's the other line of dialogue? I know there's another line of dialogue here. There we go. Alright, so how are we going to get there? The Empire's on the continent to the south. No boats go there. The people of Jador, a town to the south, can probably help us. Why are you coming with me? This is the important line that I wanted to talk about. There's bound to be treasures there. Now, as you've seen, as we've gone through the game in the last 3 episodes, there has been a mistranslation on a certain legendary treasure that's been missed out in the Super Nintendo version the entire time. And it really hurts Locke's motivation at this point in the game. There's a rumor about a legendary treasure being there and all. A legendary treasure that can bring back spirits from beyond. We know what happened to Locke's fiancée, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. So you can see Locke's motivation here is twofold. One, to protect the latest charge that he is trying to protect, and to hopefully get a glimpse of this legendary treasure that can revive his love. And this entirely gets missed by the Super Nintendo version of the game. You've always wanted to look at the Empire. That has nothing to do with it. He wants to find a way to save Rachel. Alright. That's pretty much all for this one. If you talk to this guy, Zozo, never heard of it. Whatever. This guy here is a ghost, and he will tell you some interesting things. But I'm going to save that for next time, because this has already gone pretty long. But yeah, that's pretty much all for this one. And I'll see you guys next time.